Today, as of a few minutes ago, the Shadowlands Alpha is now the beta.
Beta, baby!
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about the beta. I'm going to give a friendly community warning to all my new friends out there, and then we'll wrap up the video. Let's get started. Hey all, it's Nim or Nimicry if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today we're talking about Shadowlands beta. Listen, I haven't gotten my email yet, but I did get to speak to somebody on Twitter who is a Warcraft dev, so who knows? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we can't get lucky. But I want to remind everybody, and this is from Kyvax, the community manager, this is very, 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 very important, because there's a lot of people who are willing to take advantage of you and try to get you to pay money or sign up for scams or boost metrics or do any number of nefarious things in order to build your hopes up and ultimately be like, oh, sorry, wah, wah, nothing. So reminder, there are no beta keys for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. As in previous expansion tests, Blizzard does not grant test access to the Shadowlands via any sort of exchangeable key or code. Do not trust any offer of Shadowlands beta access that comes from any source other than Blizzard. If you'd like to join us in testing Shadowlands, all you need to do is opt in to become a tester. Players who have opted in can be selected to become a tester, and invitations will go out regularly throughout the test. That's it. That's the only way to become a beta tester, is you have to be invited by Blizzard. Now, some people may say, but Nim, doesn't that have favoritism? Doesn't that mean Blizzard can invite who they want? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, that means they can invite whoever they want. That means if they want just, only LFR raiders, they can just invite LFR raiders. If they only want big-name content creators, they can only invite big-name content creators. If they want a mixture, they'll have a mixture. That's the thing. It's their game. But what I want you to keep in mind is that you cannot get in through any scheme, through any other thing. You have to be invited. So if you see people trying to sell access or promising you access and they're not somebody super high up at Blizzard, you probably are getting scammed, and you should make sure you don't exchange any money or any metrics or watch their Twitch channel or their totally awesome cousin who promises they can get them in. So that's something to keep in mind. Even with the fact that I was able to speak to a dev the other day, he was like, I can't guarantee anything. Okay, cool. That's the most honest thing I have ever heard. I'm not going to say who it was because it's not important. Now, here's the other thing we want to talk about. We're going to talk about conduits, soulbinds, and farming. So let's pull. We'll transition to that right now. So here we are, Shadowlands beta. You never know what we're going to end up with, except that in this case, we do at least have some idea of expansion features. Now, before we start panicking and being like, oh my god, it's Azerite Armor V2, which was actually, Legion Artifacts negative V1, because I believe, and most people that I've talked to agree with me, that the Azerite Armor was actually a step back from Legion Artifacts. I understand what they were trying to do. Sadly, hey, look, best intentions, road to hell, paved. You guys know the saying. Now, we know that soulbinding is a progression system in Shadowlands in which players join a covenant and be able to bind themselves as one of its members, sharing some of their power through artifact-like talent tree. Each of the different covenants has 3 options to choose from, with each soulbind offering different bonuses for a total of 12 different trees of progression across the 4 covenants. Conduits add further customization to these soulbind trees, allowing players to fill empty sockets with trees with bonuses of their choosing. And there's a guide. We're not going to go over the guide. So that's pretty simple. You max out. You pick one of 3 you pick one of 3 people out of the covenant. You can choose and be like, hey, okay, I want to go this way. And from what we saw from bigger content creators that got access to a private alpha server, so a step above the normal alpha plebs and tiers above us lowly WoW player. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, it's Blizzard's game. They can invite whoever they want. I say that in a sardonic way. I do wish they'd invite me, but hey, that's one of those things. It's a game I've played for years, and I'd be daft if they were like, yeah, do you want to be in beta? Of course! Yes! Now! Hug, please. Thank you. Anyways, so as we move through there, we see Soulbinds. What we know about Soulbinds is limited testing of Shadowlands Alpha, Blizzard Soulbind preview, which they did, so it's going to be subject to change. So I'm not going to really so much worry about all those abilities. We know that there's going to be different things that you can pick. We've got our Kyrian, Necrolord, Night Fae, and Venthyr. So I'll look at those a little bit later as beta goes on further after tuning passes and things, because here's the thing, what I don't want to do right now is I don't want to find a build, do the math for it, theory craft it out, and then find, next Tuesday, it's gone, and or changed or shifted so to where I can't understand it. So right now, it's not that. I'm worried about more ability interactions, and we can get to that. Now, this is where the problem lies, because there's a lot of clickbaity videos that are like, oh my god, the system's broken, it's terrible, World of System Craft, everything's bad. And it's this, conduits. So conduits are essentially gems, but instead of socketing them into a piece of gear, they fill empty slots within the Soulbind trees to add an additional level of customization. While most are currently placeholder, these categories are into 3 types: throughput, survival, and utility, with each of the Soulbind offering different bonuses, as well as different conduit slots in different locations. There's a great deal more customization and power progression related to Covenants than just the class abilities they offer. So they say they have big bonuses: potency, endurance, and finesse, which break down to throughput, defensive, and utility. Okay, I like finesse. I think finesse. I think it's a nice little rebrand there. Here's the thing: they are currently treated like gems. So let's go. Let's hypothetically we'll put a boss on screen, right? So we put that boss on screen. We kill that boss. That boss has a huge loot table. That loot table will have a certain amount of things that will drop. Let's say 4. Just randomly, it drops 4. You have to fight with RNG to get what you need. Now, they may say conduits aren't going to be, they're going to be part of a different loot table. There'll always be something guaranteed. But at that point, why not just do the easy thing and basically make them Essences 2.0? And the reason you make them Essences 2.0 is that, there was a tuning pass, this was too powerful. Instead of having a lot of pissed off players, you're like, I can just swap that in, swap that out. Swap it in, swap it out, no problem. Just like you would right now with any essence in your Heart of Azeroth. There's a slight tuning patch. Okay, we'll do that. Or, I got rank 3. Okay, well, I'll swap. I'll put rank 3 as my major now because that was a bigger DPS gain or a bigger HPS gain or a bigger survivability gain. As opposed to having to be like, I need, especially at the cutting edge of content, there are times where I need every scrap of AoE DPS I can muster. Or I need every scrap of single target. Or I need every scrap of extra utility in order to push through this. There are times where that is the case. And if I have to pull out my conduit and it's destroyed, well, now I've gimped myself for the next raid boss, or the raid boss before, or the Mythic Plus dungeon. So that's the thing I want to mention, is that why not make it like Essences? We should always make it like Essences, because that gives maximum player choice and maximum player freedom. Plus, you have a guaranteed point where you be like, okay, I have earned what I want. I've got it. You can literally play to your comfort level, as opposed to being like, okay, well, I want to help my raid, so, and I don't want to be bad, so I guess let's pull the slot machine again. And here's the thing, I don't want to be doom and gloom, because this is the beta. There's still a time for this to change. And if you guys remember from the alpha and beta of Battle for Azeroth, originally, Azerite armor wasn't even, that was like a week before the game came out. They're like, hey, Azerite armor, here we go, we got something. And then they did a bunch of tuning patches and things, and while a lot of people were legitimately, and I think rightly, upset, because, you'll spend a lot of time trying to figure everything out, and then, nothing. I think that and I want to make sure I put this right, the conduit system is at least a little better right now, base level, just because of the fact that we can see it, we can understand it, and they seem to actually be listening to feedback. In fact, as a point to listening to feedback, in the novel for Shadowlands, Bwansamdi apparently calls Zehan Zappy Boy. So, listen, that's a community win. Cue confetti. Boom. All right, we got him. Anyways, guys, the other thing I want to mention before we get off on this is that the Covenants, we want to try to make sure that we test all the Covenant abilities, and that if there are problems, and I'm going to assume going forward there is going to be a couple of problems, that we present our feedback in not a vitriolic way. Because here's the thing, if I come out and I'm like, you're terrible and bad and horrible and nobody should ever listen to you, they're not going to just, oh, okay, cool, I can ignore that person. That's a crazy person. As opposed to like, hey, listen, we find this more punitive than I think is necessary. I understand that, okay, there's going to be some costs, there's going to be some catch up, maybe I'm a week behind, okay, but eventually everything will catch up, especially if I'm playing real hard. Granted, no problem. Fine, fun. But if it's like, oh, you got to start all the way over and max everything, it's so what we need to do is we need to make sure that we put our feedback in very polite, specific terms. You can always tweet at Warcraft. There's some Warcraft devs, things to watch that. The forums are watched occasionally by devs, and of course, offer your feedbacks in the beta forums. And if you are a content creator or know content creators that have access to the beta, by all means, let them know your concerns as well, because odds are nobody I know wants this game to be bad for the people that play it. So, guys, this was the thing. Tell me what you think. You guys hyped about the beta? I'm a little hyped, not gonna lie. Trying to tone it down. So let me know how you feel. And of course, I stream on Twitch. There'll be something on screen right now. Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching the video, and like, comment, subscribe. All right, we'll see you next video. Take care, and bye.